Don't stop worrying about what people think about you. And when you figured that out, let me know how you did it.
Look, I think that as much as you say, fuck what people think, or it doesn't matter what people think of you, there's always a small percentage of your mind that is insecure and that does stop and go. You know, the most successful people, if they thought about what people thought of them, they'd never be successful. I'm Luke, and you're listening to the Luke Mind Power podcast. What's up, everyone? How you doing? It's Luke Mind Power here. Welcome to the Luke Mind Power podcast. Another amazing episode, and you're probably wondering, where are you, Luke? You're not in your freaking studio doing the podcast. I'm in the back of a Maybach. I'm with an amazing friend of mine who I met in Dubai when I first moved here in 2023. I can't wait to spend some time with Radin, but Radin Jahromi is in the building all the way from freaking Perth. Welcome to the Luke Mind Power podcast.
Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
It's a blessing to have you, man. I'm super excited because we want to know about your success. We want to know about like your life. We want to know how the hell you have manifested and created this abundance in your life, because I think this is one of the biggest stresses for most people is money.
Sure.
You know, so tell us a little bit about your story, about you know how you and why you moved to Dubai as well, but where you started, man.
I credit a lot of my success to trauma. You wasn't expecting that.
Well, this is why we're all motivated, because we want to overcome this shit, right? So tell us about this trauma, because it is a really, really, I think, relevant topic in today's world. Because a lot of us, for many years, I think, are still, people are like, I posted something on Instagram and said 10 signs to indicate that you're consciously awake. And I was living unconsciously, not aware of my insecurities, trauma, pain, suppressed energy, fear. So how has this kind of affected your life? And
when I was 22, 23, I started in House and Land. You know House and Land, when they got
House and Land packages?
Yeah. I used to do that. And I worked for a company, and I was like a baby. You know, I was 22, 23 years old, and I went to this company. There was 3 bosses, and one of the bosses was extremely racist to me. Now, I grew up in Australia. All my friends were racist to me. It's funny, right? But you can't be racist to me if you don't know me. So especially if you're a point of authority and I don't know you and I just started. The first day I came to the office, he had a photo of Osama bin Laden on my desk, right? Which I thought was funny. But I was like, listen, you can't do that, right? Like me and my buddies will make fun of each other, but if we don't know you and you say the same things, we'll beat you up. That's actually happened before, where it's like we were like making fun of each other, and some other guys at like a pool club or whatever it was that they were doing that, and then we're like, let's go outside. And they thought it's okay for them to talk to us like how we were talking to each other. So anyways, long story short, you know, I'm grabbing flyers, I'm going to my display home on the weekend, on Saturday, Sunday, holding all these flyers, got my glasses on, like trying to learn everything. My second, third day in, he comes in, he whacks all the flyers out of my hand, it's on the ground. It's like, what are you doing this for? You know, he basically put me on the spot. He's like, how are you going to sell this? You don't even know how to sell. Like, unprovoked, by the way. I'm just in my own zone. I had my headphones in front of all the sales team. It's like picking it up. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? Well, so anyways, this goes on for, I was there for 3 months. At the end of the 3 months, I quit. And then there was 3 managers in total. 2 of them were like, listen, like, we understand that guy didn't give you a fair chance, and we think you're going to do great, and we're sorry we couldn't give you a fair chance. It's just how it goes in this culture, in the culture of the company. So I went to their competitor, their biggest competitor, and he's like, do you want to start selling? I said, no. I don't want to start selling. I want to learn everything first. I want to learn the product. I want to, really understand what I'm selling first. So the first month I took off. The second month I did 12 homes in my first month of selling. The top sales rep in the whole industry at the time was doing 5. The third month, the second month of selling, I did 11, and then I did 11. So I ended up selling 33 homes, 34 homes, whatever the number is, 34 in like 3 months. And the top sales rep in the whole entire industry was doing 5 a month. My career blew. I remember I had assistants to help me with everything. Like I
was just selling off the plan.
Yeah. I didn't have time to deal with all the customers, and I remember I had an email, and they emailed me saying, you have $186,000 worth of commission in the system. You know, when you sell a house that goes to settlement, they email you, you've got $8,000 worth of commission. Can you invoice for it? Yep, here's the invoice for $8,000. You get the money, right? I got an email saying, you've got $186,000 in commission sitting there for the past 4 or 5 months that you haven't invoiced for. Because I didn't do it for the money. I did it because I wanted revenge on that guy.
Right. You wanted to prove yourself and show that, hey.
Inevitably, he got fired.
Right.
Because they said, how many other guns in this industry, superstars in this industry, have you burnt? Have you pushed out? So I did it for revenge. So I looked at it as a game. My motivation wasn't money. I didn't leave the house to say I want to go and make money. I left the house to go there because I knew 2 doors down that competitor company was there. And I was going there to make sure he doesn't eat. I didn't do it for the money.
So there's a quote that says, the best revenge is massive success.
Yeah.
Right? But isn't it interesting that somebody bullying us or hurting us in a sense can motivate us?
Yeah.
Right? And it's pretty much my story as well, being bullied, feeling insecure about my physical appearance, women rejecting me, not feeling good enough within myself, not knowing my purpose or what it was. It was frustrating, and it's like almost like the world is against you.
Yeah.
And what do? You have a choice. Do I step up and lead and take action and go, fuck you guys, I'm going to get this shit, I'm going to become successful? Or do you let it consume you?
Correct.
Right? But tell us about your businesses. Like, what do you do? Like,
So, by the way, I had this conversation the other day with a friend of mine. I said to him, when I have kids, I don't know if I want to raise them in Dubai because there's no trauma in Dubai. There's no racism. There's no space for racism here. There's no room for it. Everyone's from somewhere. So I don't know. I don't think my kids would really have trauma here to be able to, have that tenacity and that drive. When they say it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. You're not gonna get that. So, and then I read a book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Have you read that?
Yeah, it's
Robert Kiyosaki,
the Japanese guy.
Yeah. So basically, he was saying to do a business, you don't have to be a genius. Right. What would you like, by the way? Coffee?
Yeah. I'll have a.
Hey.
Yeah, I need a triple espresso with 1 sugar.
Can I get a triple espresso with sugar, triple espresso with one of these, 2 sparkling waters, and Shaq, you have a normal water and a normal water. Thank you. Shaq? Yes, over here. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, so we're having a Costa Coffee, and this podcast is not sponsored by Costa Coffee, by the way. We just decided to
I wish you were.
Go through a coffee.
Yeah, so basically, I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. And that book kind of showed me, or I read that, have you read the book?
No.
It basically says you don't need to be a genius to do business. You just need knowledge and balls. I literally said balls. So people are so often scared of losing money, and scared money doesn't make no money, as the wise Dr. Dre once said. So I then then I had a bit of money that I had accumulated that I hadn't spent. And I didn't
like how much? 100,000, 200,000,
480, half a million.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was spending I bought a car and stuff like that. But at the age of 23, 24, I had about $500,000 that I'd say.
Okay, so just to give you perspective, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you guys to understand. When I was 23, I was in debt probably 40 grand. Yeah, so I was completely opposite. And I didn't know what I was doing. I'd started a business. I came back from Hong Kong. I lost 20 grand in the business within the first 6 months. Yeah, go on.
People say you're not lucky. No. Listen, all the rich people I talk to Dubai, they all say I'm lucky. People say, oh, you create your own luck. Of course you create your own, okay? Because you work hard. The harder you work, the luckier you are. I truly believe people became billionaires. But the billionaires have a certain element of luck. They did an industry at the right time. That's luck, right? I got very lucky to have such a volatile, and like people in the industry know me when I go back to Dubai, when I go back to Perth, and I see people are like, yeah, like within the industry, people talk about you. Like, he came, he made some money, and he went, he fucked off, and he's now doing this thing in Dubai.
So what are the businesses that you run now?
Okay, so the first business I started was an insurance company. We became the largest in WA. I did it with a buddy of mine who had many failed businesses, who didn't have an education. And, you know, if you read any business books, they'll tell you, does this person have an education? No. Does this person, you know, have experience in the field? Does this person, like, you know, has he had previous success? If none of these things, you don't invest. I did it. I invested with my friend, and he had the knowledge and the idea, and I had the funds. So we set up this company.
So what is your education? Like, what did you finish? Year 12? Right. Did you go to university?
Yeah, I went to uni. I studied chiropractic.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm about 3 semesters away from getting my degree, and I left. I left when I was 24. When you make $180,000 in 1 month, how do you turn to your dad and say, "Dad, I'm going to stay at uni and become a chiropractor and make 120 a year," when I made 180 in 1 month?
Yeah, I know.
And my dad said, "Sure, do it. Drop out."
Yeah.
And then that's what I did. I dropped out. And and so we started that insurance company. And look, with all the other investments that we have, I want to make it clear, none of it would have been possible if it wasn't for the first company. Because the first company is the reason why everything else was able to become what it is after. So yeah, we've got other businesses. We've got karaoke bars and gym and, you know, an ice cream shop and stuff like that. We have night gyms.
Yeah, it's funny you say this because it's kind of like my brother-in-law. Like, he's just good at, like, what's this opportunity? Like, I sent him a message, and I'm like, bro, I love burgers. I've been eating a lot of these burgers because there's heaps of burger joints in Dubai, right? And like
11's the best. Try it.
Really?
Have you tried Salt?
No. Have you tried Alien Burger?
No, it's a good. Is that?
So, like, I've been trying all these burgers, right? And I'm like, man, I'm the best fucking sandwich maker. I know how to make fucking burger. Like, I know how to make good fucking sandwiches.
Yeah.
So I know I'd be good at this burger shit, you know? And like, I had this experience at my friend's, family friend's house in Abu Dhabi. At 12 o'clock, the bartenders left. What happened? I got behind the bar and I started making drinks for everyone.
Nice.
And I was doing it. I was loving it. The vibe, the music was on, and I was loving making drinks for people. And I was like, it's a passion. It's something you enjoy. I don't need to get paid for it. Right? So same with sandwiches. I know I make fucking good sandwiches, and I know if I would open a burger joint. So anyway, long story short, I sent him a message. I go, bro, we're going to open a burger joint, you know, in Dubai. And he goes, what's the concept? So, like, he's already interested. Why? Because it's business. It's a restaurant. It's a property development. It's not this, it's business.
Correct.
Versus me at the moment, like, I've gone into personal development, coaching, podcast, you know what I mean? Like, this is my forte at the moment. I haven't ventured out into exploring all these other avenues of, like, where else can I make money? You know what I mean? Because obviously, you know, the saying goes, you got to have money to make money, right? So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, people will develop themselves, or people will become a registered nurse or a lawyer or whatever. And it's like, don't limit yourself to just that.
Correct.
You know, there's so much out there, and that's why I'm interested to see, like, where I am in 5 years' time, because I don't know what other avenues I'm going to go with business or with my passions, with what I enjoy.
Yeah.
I love, when I go back to, I did a podcast with, who was it? It was Dr. Marie Hansen, I think, and she said, you know, how do you find your purpose? And she go back to your childhood. What did you love? What were you doing? And I think back to my childhood, I was playing PlayStation. I was playing Formula One. I loved it. I used to love watching Michael Schumacher, you know, and all that. It's like, yeah, but I'm not a Formula One driver. But when I was living with Danilo a couple of years ago, what was I watching? I was watching a Formula One on Netflix. And I was like having this imagination of one day I'm going to have Luke Mindpower on one of the Formula One cars. It hasn't happened yet. I haven't even gone to a Formula One race yet. But it's there. And it's like there's a process that you have to go through before you can activate that dream.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
It's so important to have like a direction because, I told the girl the other day that I'm looking at buying a Lamborghini, and she said, I hate cars that have Lamborghinis because, what are they compensating for? And it's not that. Like, when you reach all your goals, my goal was to do A. I did A. And then it's accomplished B. I did B, and then accomplished C. When you reach all your goals and you reach to where you want to get to, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? You're going to chase your tail? You need to have, Lamborghini was never something that was on my vision board or something that I dreamed about, but put it on there anyways. Put it on there because when you hit that goal, then you elevate your self-confidence again. You go, I accomplished something else. If you do not set a goal, even if it's irrelevant, I hate Lamborghinis. It doesn't matter. Just put it on there. Just see what happens. And also, the power of visualization is so fucking strong. It's so strong that you could visualize something today for 1 year and not visualize that anymore for 2, 3 years, and fourth year, fifth year, it just happens out of nowhere.
But see, that's the problem for most people is the patience. It's the time that separates the dream from actually becoming a reality. I was actually working with my clients yesterday about assume the wish fulfilled. Dr. Wayne Dyer, right? He has this way of explaining stuff. Assume that you already have and you already are the person that you want to become. Right?
And you go into it.
Yeah. And so what I did with one of my clients, and this is everyone's watching, right? We're on a group coaching call, right? And one of my clients wants to have a podcast. He wants to be a coach. He wants to be a speaker. He wants to be a breakthrough coach. He wants to help people overcome the challenges and stuff like that. So I'm standing there and I had this download and I'm like, I'm going to do this. So I sat down, I got my podcast mic and I said, I basically put him on the spotlight with me on the Zoom call. And his name's Mike. Shout out to Mike Brown if you're listening. He's with me. Everybody else is watching. And plus he's sitting in this amazing chair. He's got this nice neon lighting at the back and he looks like a king. He's sitting there. And I go, okay, so assume the wish fulfilled. What we're going to do right now is an exercise of manifestation. We are going to put you 5 years ahead. So Mike, you are this version of yourself in 5 years' time, right? You're one of the best podcasters out there. I said, you're traveling the world. You're an international speaker. You just finished an event with Tony Robbins, right? And you're helping people. You're doing events with like 5,000 and 10,000 people at a time. And you're a breakthrough coach. You help people to overcome their shit. So I started. I said, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Luke Mindpower podcast. It's a blessing to be here. I'm with Mike Brown today, an extraordinary international speaker. I can't wait to spend time with him. He's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I put him into the future. And I said, you have to respond to me as if you already are this person. And he started doing it. And everyone was like, wow, what? Because he had to act it. And this is the challenge for most of us in manifesting what we want because we don't believe it's possible. And that the mind is like, you're saying, I'm successful. I've got millions of dollars in the bank. I'm the best version of myself. I'm fucking confident. I'm feeling peace. That's assume the wish fulfilled. What do you want? I want more peace. Start acting as if you have more peace. But the mind is like, no, you don't. No, you're not. You're not successful. You don't have millions of dollars in the bank. You're not an international speaker.
Yeah.
You can't do that. You're not helping people. That's the problem for most people is actually fighting against the mind that says, no, that's not real. Believing that that's actually who you are.
Correct.
That you can do it. Yeah.
It really comes down from trauma if you don't have self-belief and insecurities. I feel, I'm single. Right. And I'm dating around and I'm going around, I'm dating different women and seeing different people's energies. And, I went to some event and I went on a date with a girl afterwards the next day. And she said to me, like, well, something stood out about you was your confidence because I like to go and I like control room. That's just my personality. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to her, my confidence comes from accepting my insecurities.
What's an insecurity for you? Like what's something that
listen, I grew up in Australia. Being brown, I stood out. I went bald when I was like 22.
Okay, let's talk about that. I remember
I was fat, right? Like I'm still fat. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like
whatever, man. No, you look great. You look good.
No, I'm not like you. Put it that way. Nah. I haven't gone to the gym in 3 weeks.
That's all right. Yeah. But bro, this takes us back because I wanted to talk about this anyway.
Yeah.
We were having dinner at that Turkish or Lebanese restaurant when
Turkish.
Yeah, it was Turkish, right?
In JBR.
Exactly. And we were talking about we were talking about hair. We were talking about our hair. And we were talking about people going to Turkey and getting hair transplants, right?
Yeah.
And I said something to you about your hair, and I was like, bro, you could do that. And you go, I don't want to. I like my hair.
Yeah.
I like that I'm bald.
Yeah.
Right. And to be honest, I actually was inspired by your response because everyone, especially, how old are you?
34 now.
34. And at your age, most people that have, you know, a bald head or whatever would go, fuck this. I'm going to fucking Turkey and I'm getting a hair transplant. I'm doing it. But your response was, no, I actually like the way I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Accepting my insecurity. You know, I come from a very pretentious family, right? Well, one side of my family is very pretentious, right? And like one side of my family is very wealthy and the other side is okay, but not very wealthy. And the wealthy side is not pretentious at all.
What's pretentious mean?
Pretentious means they really care about brand names and Gucci and Porsche.
Okay.
And
Right. Okay.
The pretentious side of my family are like, oh yeah, if you're sick, you have a chest infection, you get antibiotics. Like that's just what you do. You're supposed to do that. Oh, you're going bald, you're supposed to go get hair implants. You're supposed to do that. So they look at me going, I don't understand, like, what, he's sick, he needs to go and do this. Why is he not doing it? For them, it was so foreign for them that you're not doing it. Like, even your cousin or your uncle that isn't even thinning out like you, just a little bit, he's went and got a little touch up. And you're not getting anything?
I can relate now, but 10 years ago, no way. My physical appearance, you know, my insecurities of how I look and, that I was really lanky and tall and, you know, like even to the point where I would be so particular with the shoes that I would buy. I would make sure they're all flat. So I'm not too tall because I was already tall and taller than most people when I take a photo or when I meet people, whatever.
But everyone wants to be tall.
I know, but I was the opposite because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be accepted, right?
Yeah.
So I don't want to be too tall. And then, you know, I got a long neck at the same time. And it's like, when I stand next to people, you can see like I'm too tall or the neck shows or whatever. So I'm like, buy shoes that are really, really flat and then I'll be a little bit shorter. And it was only like 5 centimeters or fucking hardly anything, but I was particular about it.
You know what's crazy? People that are short are insecure. Nobody that's tall is insecure. This is a clear sign that everybody has insecurities. Everybody. Leonardo DiCaprio's got insecurities.
Yeah.
Everybody has insecurities. If I was him, I would have no insecurities.
I know. That's what you think.
That's what you think.
You look at the people and you go, fuck, I wish I had that life. But now, as we communicate about this, now where I'm at in life in terms of confidence and who I am, I'm like, yes, own your insecurities, own the shit out of them. That's what makes you different.
Yeah.
Like, own the fact that you're tall, own the fact that you're lanky or you're skinny or your neck or you're fucking whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm on stage and I go, both of my toenails are fucking gone. The dirt's ugly or whatever. You know, I don't give a shit. It is what it is. So to be able to own that is it takes confidence, but it also shows how secure you are in your own body.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because the truth is, you're not your insecurities.
No.
What? Because I've got no toenails on both my fucking toes because of soccer and because one of them I hit in the fucking rock in Queensland in the bush. What? I'm not like who I am.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me.
Yeah.
Like your bald head, I go, fuck, you know, like how is that affecting the amount of money that you're making? What? Because you're bald, you're not good enough.
Exactly. No, I put a joke to it too. I'm always like, I'm starting to get free things in Dubai. I'm starting to get free suits, free this, come and do a post here.
Yeah.
I've got so many suits now.
Yeah.
I don't know why. When you do one ad for a suit company, the other suit people want to come and, hey, you want to come do something for us?
Yeah.
And when they do the photo shoot, I'm always like, I'm in the middle of the models and I'm always like, do you want to put me in the middle? So like the light shines off my head so there's no lighting or whatever. You got to own it. You got to own it. I was somewhere in a social setting and the guy's like, we're having a good time, we're laughing, and the guy calls me gay. And I owned it. I was like, yeah, I'm gay. Right? I'm not gay, obviously. But can you imagine, but all these things are tests. Can you imagine the guy that's like, I'm not gay. Okay. Then the guy goes, I found a point of him that I can keep pressing.
It's a trigger.
Right? You got to disarm.
Yeah.
I can think of 10 scenarios right now where I could become a billionaire. And I could think of 10 scenarios right now where I can become broke tomorrow, right? With everything that I do. I can put put a positive light to everything, and I can put a negative light to everything. Let's say you're texting with your business partners, or you're texting with a girl. Communication isn't that good, right? Because you're texting and you're waiting for this or you're waiting for that. And you're overthinking the situation. And it drains your energy for the day, right? Or for 2 days or whatever it is. How do you snap out of that? How do you recognize that this is draining my energy and I'm probably overthinking it and I need to be aggressively patient until we find a solution? You need to snap out of it and not overthink.
It takes time. It takes time to continue to again, I use this term recently. I'm saying it a lot on my podcast, perpetual state of suffering, where you're continuously going through something over and over and over and over again, and you're not learning the lesson. And you need to be hurt by it. It needs to drain your energy. It needs to frustrate you. It needs to continue to, right, perpetual state of suffering where it's going over and over and over and over again until you wake up, until you become aware of like, okay, there's something wrong here. There's something that's happening continuously that I'm not paying attention to or that's taking my power away and I'm not getting the results that I want. And this was happening to me in relationships time and time again, and I never could understand it. All I was experiencing was frustration, overthinking, which was just basically insecurities. It was my own insecurities, not picking up on the signs. She's clearly not that into you if she's responding to you 3 days later. But you still think, oh, but she replied to me, so she must be interested, when really the signs are clear that she's not that into you. And so instead of going, you know what, I know my worth, I've given time already, I've invested enough into it, I'm not receiving back, goodbye. So these relationships and experiences that I continue to go through, like chasing. I remember that girl that I was going to marry in 2012, I was chasing. I was so scared that she was going to leave that I asked her to marry me. So I'm always chasing. And that's why when you start becoming self-aware, you go, well, don't chase, attract. You know, I didn't fucking chase you. You found me on Instagram. You reached out to me and you said, hey man, I'd love to do a podcast with you. I attracted you into my life because of who I became. So it's really knowing your worth, knowing what you deserve, and understanding the exchange of energy, having a balance, right? Give, receive. If you are over-delivering and over-giving and giving so much of yourself to someone and they're not reciprocating that energy, bro, see you later. And so that's why, what is overthinking? It's a disturbance of your peace. It doesn't make you feel peaceful. So what happens? It disturbs your peace, which zaps your energy. And so when I went through all these experiences continuously in relationships, I got to a point where I said, you know what? No more. You come into my life and you disturb my peace, you can fuck off. And that's why I'm so relentless with like anything that disturbs your peace can leave. Remove it. You know what I mean? And that's where now you create more peace, which creates more clarity, which creates, you know, your ability to use your creative mind and to be in flow and to be able to think.
So what I understand from what you're saying is there is no quick release. It's something you have to go through.
You know, and that's why you learn from other people. Because like you can be going through a situation like this right now, and that's the whole point of working on yourself, having a coach, having someone you can communicate with and express your situations and experiences with so that they can give you clarity. Because again, what's it all about? I always say, don't take advice from people who haven't got what you want. Don't take advice from people who haven't been where you're going. So that's why you would listen to a podcast of someone who's successful or been through life experiences that maybe you're going through right now that you can relate to and go, shit, I needed to hear that today. That makes so much sense. That's what I'm going through. The other thing, the biggest problem for most people is they'll listen to this advice or they'll listen to this and go, that really makes sense. But then they'll keep doing the same shit, you know, and you got to realize, man, we're all on a time limit here. You know, we're all on the clock. Every day is a day closer to death. And you don't even know when your time is up. So you have to decide, how do I use my energy? Do I use it to grow, or do I continue to be zapped because I'm overthinking or because I'm not, you know, respecting? And that's why I like this. I learned it from Trent Shelton, you know, make the world respect your greatness. When you don't have self-worth and you don't feel great, then you disrespect yourself by allowing people to abuse your power.
If it's your girlfriend or your business partner or something, you just can't. You can't just cut it off.
Of course. You
have to work with it.
100%, man. Look, it's like people can be listening going, yeah. It's easier said than done. I get it.
It is. Have you seen the video put on the sunscreen song?
No.
It's like, I gotta put it on here. And it basically just talks. And then it goes, don't stop worrying about what people think about you. And when you figured that out, let me know how you did it.
Look, I think that as much as, you say fuck what people think, or it doesn't matter what people think of you, there's always a small percentage, even it doesn't matter how confident you are, there's always a small percentage of your mind that is insecure and that does stop and go, what are they going to think? Because the most successful people, if they thought about what people thought of them, they'd never be successful. Because they'd be always stopping going, oh, what's my mum going to think? Or what's my dad going to think? So we have to, that's what the breakthroughs are for. The confidence, the dancing in front of people, the getting up. Like in my group coaching, what do? I'm always getting my clients to get up and dance. Because we're breaking through the subconscious programming of like, oh my gosh, people can see me.
Yeah.
And there's always new levels to that level of confidence. But just going back to what you're saying, it doesn't happen straight away. Some people have to go through 3-4 years of mediation and lawyers and this, and it's fucking dirty. And to be honest, it's turned me off marriage. Like I look at them, the divorce rate, and I'm like, mate, relationship, I'm with you, but fucking getting married and signing these papers and fucking like and this is why, because of the amount of people that I've worked with that have been married, going through divorce and having to go through this whole process.
What's the point of doing something where you're statistically going to get out of it?
What's the point of needing validation from the government to say I'm with someone?
Why do you have to involve the government into your...
Exactly.
But also, you're doing extra paperwork to involve the government to then have to statistically now unwind yourself from that contract.
That's just so dumb.
What's the divorce rate for?
Like 50%.
It's like 53% in the Western world, but that's a lag. That's our parents' generation. Our generation is a lagging indicator. Our parents didn't have an app to swipe left and get a new husband or wife. Now we're learning how to break up. Right? We are going through way too much trauma than we should be.
Yeah.
Now we're dating to learn how to break up. Oh, he broke up with me like this. I can break up with that with the next person. Even if we use our parents' generation, even if we use that, right? Not our generation, because our generation is going to go for 90%, I guarantee you. But even if we use our parents' generation, what's the statistics out of the 53% that are divorced, right? You got 47% remaining. Out of that, how many are together because of the kids? I'd say half.
Well,
half of them are together because of the kids.
Yeah, 100%.
So now you have a system that's designed to fail 75% of the time.
I feel sorry for the kids. Like my sister went through a fucking divorce and I watched it. I experienced it with her, and it was, and I know that like after she was in the relationship 14 years, but I know that from when it got to around 7, she already knew she was done. But what happened? We stayed together for the kids.
Yep.
We stayed together because, I wanted the kids to have a dad. Mm-hmm. Or we stayed together because we wanted to show the kids, that this was a family. The truth is you're hurting when there's a unhealthy environment, or when you're not the best version of yourself because you're not happy in the relationship. What happens? You can't give your best to the children. And that's unfair. I think as a child, you should have a parent, if not both parents, being the best versions of themselves, so that they can give you the best example. They're leading. Their children emulate the parent, and so there are so many people in unhealthy, unhappy relationships still staying together just for the purpose of the kids, and the kids are suffering. How do I change this? And I'm like, well, the best way I change it is by being a leader and being the example for my nephews and nieces. I've got 10 of them. I know they're watching me on social media. Every time I see them, I remind them to love themselves. I remind them to believe in themselves. I remind them that fucking don't listen to no one. I said, if you fucking want something, you believe in it, you fucking go and do it. Doesn't matter what anyone says. So I'm like, what would I need if I was able to parent myself? Well, I'd empower the fuck out of him.
Right.
So, but I think that the trauma, it's going to happen anyway, bro.
Correct.
The kid has to go to school. Someone's going to bully him. Someone's going to say something that's going to hurt. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's going to be one point where you're going to fucking shout at the kid because he's not listening. It's a kid. That's what they're good at.
Yeah.
So even if you say, I want the kid to go through trauma or I don't want it, it's going to go through it regardless. It's more about the child being fucking aware that it can communicate, that it can feel its feelings, that it can show emotion. Because I think that's the challenge, especially from a male's point of view, is we've been taught that it's not okay to show emotion. It's not okay to be vulnerable. It's not okay to communicate and share your feelings. When really, it's the most fucking empowering thing to do is to actually be able to feel safe enough to go, you know what, this is how I feel. Yeah. This is where your freedom is, bro. Yeah. Having conversations like this where we can be fucking real, this is healing.
Yeah.
And this is where many men are failing themselves because they're just not aware, and plus they don't have an environment where they can actually feel okay to talk about what the fuck is really happening within themselves. So what do we do? Suppress the shit by fucking prostitutes, strip clubs, drinking, fucking cocaine, all this shit that takes you away from the truth of like what's actually really happening here.
I have nothing to say.
I'm just, look, while we were talking about it and stuff, I was just like, I really love this energy.
Yeah, me too.
It's just such a good vibe. I think everyone who's watching right now is probably like, man, look at this conversation going from this to this to this.
Because we're friends.
Exactly. I know. You know I mean? Because it's just, yeah, bro.
Like it doesn't seem like a chore. Like cameras on or off, we'd be having this conversation. Exactly. Right?
Yeah. It's just like, it's beautiful, and this is like why I always talk about surround yourself with that which inspires you or makes sense to you or add values to your life or, complements your life, and with whom you surround yourself with is who you become, So again, but you have to feel that connection. And I always say, like, ask yourself the question, what are you becoming because of the relationships that you have in your life? Is it draining your energy or is it lifting you up? So, connecting with you and the amount of times that we've hung out or we've gone to dinner and lunch and, for me, it's valuable. It's like the possibilities of doing business with you in the future, possibly, or whatever. You just never know. But again, everything's energy, and you can feel it, bro. It's like, do I like hanging out with Luke? Do I like his energy or not?
80% of communication is nonverbal.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Like I told you before, I know when one of my staff is going to quit 2 months before they quit.
So you can feel it, bro.
They're not engaged. They're not engaged.
So what's your dream, man? Like you've become successful. You're pretty much traveling around the world. You're doing whatever the fuck you want, whenever you want. You got it all. What's the next for Radin? Like, where are you in, let's say, 5 years' time? What's your dream?
That's a scary thing. Where the scary thing of getting what you want is what's next. I'm financially stable. My parents are financially stable. I've been able to retire them. And, I'm in a fortunate position of now thinking, where do I park my money? Where do I park this money? Where do I park this money? And finding investments that suit my criteria for each investment. Do I want cash flow? Do I want growth? I'm very, very blessed, very fortunate. Obviously, there's people doing way better than me, right? Especially in Dubai. I broke up with I had a relationship about 6 months ago. It wasn't a long relationship. But I was too poor for her.
Really?
Yeah, I was never going to be with you anyways. I need a guy that's going to buy me a bag every 2 weeks, and you're not going to do that.
Wow.
Right? And of course I'm not going to do that. I'm from Australia. Like, are you there for me? Like, are you there for the bag or me?
Yeah.
So, obviously the goal that I had for myself, I have reached, but that's not obviously other girls' goals. I mean, you look at property prices here, they're 25 million Australian dollars for something, just on the palm, just like a normal villa. There's nothing special about it either, right? It's not, wow, look at that one. That one, the one that's wow is 125 to 150,000 million dollars Australian. So for me, I've reached my goal to be comfortable, right? Where I don't need to work and I can travel the world and I can be okay, and I've retired my parents, right? For me, it's just to continue the growth. Now, the dream always changes, right? But So I like to set my dreams per year. And my goals for this year, I have. My goals for next year, I have. And then that's it. And then we just see where it goes. Because whatever your plan is not God's plan. God has a different plan for you than your plan. Mm-hmm. I never thought I'd do this. I never thought I'd be living in Dubai. Hey, guess what? It was on the vision board, but I didn't think about it actively every day.
Neither did I.
Yeah. And I never thought I'd be doing a podcast, but I did. Mm. I did a podcast with a friend of yours, Master Shri, and he said to me, I said to him, what's the point of visualizing if you claim that everything's pre-written? He said, your destiny isn't written. Destinies are written. Mm. You walk down this road. There's a door here, and there's a door there, and there's a gate there, and there's a gate there. You decide what door or what gate you go down. Whatever happens when you go through that door has been written. You go through that door, you find someone you fall in love with, you have a wife, you get a divorce, whatever. You go down this door, you go find this guy, you do business with him, you become a billionaire. That story, now I decided to open the door for Dubai. Mm. That story that's already been pre-written by a divine energy, by God, whatever you want to call it. That's been pre-written, and I'm just going down it. Do I have I want to be this? I'm not trying to be a billionaire. That's not my goal. I don't want to be a billionaire. I'm the king of chill. I want to have an easy, peaceful life. Mm-hmm. I see billionaires here. Your worst day is their best day. Mm. You don't want that. They keep escaping to Maldives. And when they're on the last day they're in Maldives, they become a bad person. Mm. And my friend always says to them, hey, don't worry, bro. You'll come back to Maldives. Because they know when they come back to here, it's all headache. Mm. When they land off, the throne is full of messages. Mm-hmm. This happened, that happened. Someone died on the construction site, whatever. Just issues after issues and sadness after sadness. So, yeah, for me, plan, I don't like to plan. Mm. Because things change. When you think you're at the wheel, God will show you you're not.
And what we're talking about is there's this level of fulfillment when you overcome a fear or you do something that challenges you. And then you do it, and it's like, oh wow, I did that. You know? Yeah. So it's the same thing as a Lamborghini or whatever it is that you want to buy. It's like, oh my gosh, I've had that, and it's just this new level to go through, which is awesome. But yeah, you do have. So for everyone that's watching, guys, Radin actually does have a podcast on YouTube as well, which is called the On My Way Podcast. So I would invite you guys to search it up on YouTube. I'll put the link in the description below as well, so you just click it. And go and follow and subscribe to Radin's YouTube channel because it's a pretty awesome channel that has a lot of different successful entrepreneurs and people that are sharing their stories. And it's definitely going to inspire you. But Radin, thank you so much for your time today, man. It's been a blessing to have you on the podcast, man. I appreciate you reaching out to me last year in 2023. I appreciate you coming on because I was a nobody.
I didn't even have a channel. You're like, yeah, what's your channel? I was like, I don't even have one. I'm just going around to podcasting.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, sure, I'll come on your channel and I'll have a chat to you and film some. And you didn't need to do that. There's no benefit for you, but it shows the character of the man that you are, that you're willing to help when there's no benefit for you. Mm-hmm. But then again, that's when you get blessings, when you give without wanting to get, right? And that's what you did. You gave. You took a trust in me to say, hey, sure, I'll do that thing for you. And you didn't need to do that. So I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Awesome. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'll see you on the next episode. Peace out. Never give up on your dreams. Let's go. Thank you for joining me on this journey of self-discovery and growth. If you're ready to grow and reach your full potential and find inner peace, send me a DM that says, I want inner peace, and I'll send you the next steps. You can accomplish anything you set your mind to. When you change your mind, you change your whole life. So don't hesitate and send that DM over to me. Myself and my team can't wait to meet you and witness your transformation in full glory. See you next week.